Okay. Hello, I'm Alex from A.P. Ink. So today I'm going to be picking up where I left off last time, which I was working on sketches that I think kind of embody summer. So palm tree, beach, an attempt at kind of a sandcastle. So let's pick the next reference and we'll see how much more I can get done today. I think kind of sticking with sand, which I should have done this last time here. Okay, let me resize this really quick. There. I don't know, maybe it's a bit too obvious, but actually have like summer somewhere on this. Kind of like how I've had Mother's Day, Father's Day, Happy 4th of July, whatever. I was originally thinking of actually having it in the sand here, which I might try to overlay the word here on the beach, but I think I need to pull the reference up so I can see it better. Okay. So yeah, grab your own supplies if you're drawing along, and we'll get right into this. Okay. Doing this freehand, my letters aren't necessarily all the same size. So I do have like a list of what colors I've already used. So to try to use the same colors that I used here on the beach. If I can actually figure which colors I used. I think I used this grayish yellow for the base. So to try and duplicate this kind of like sand letters, I'm going to use the base color to kind of like outline or trace over the letters, and then I think maybe it was Nugget that I used for the darker tone here. So I'm going to use Nugget to kind of trace over and try to make these look like there's a shadow for where somebody drew in the sand. We'll see if it actually will look like what I'm hoping. Okay, grayish yellow. Nugget. So, kind of making bubble letters. I'm purposely trying to have the shadow look a bit more kind of bumpy, because if you can see in the reference, let me drop the light on my phone so maybe it's a bit easier to see. So you can kind of see how uneven kind of the line is around the letters. I don't know. I tried. Okay. Next reference. Maybe while we're working on sandy things, we can do beach volleyball. Let me just pull up the same reference for myself. If I even have room for this on this page. I probably should have a ruler for this, but we'll see how well I can do this freehand. Even with a wide mesh net like this, there's still some give to the fabric. So there is going to be a little bit of a droop between the posts or poles, whatever, for the net. To look up a better reference for a volleyball, I don't know the proper way, aside from actually kind of drawing a grid on how to depict a net like this. In a previous project where I had to draw a sports net like this, I think, I'm trying to remember, I think I just did kind of like random hash marks. Okay. Not sure that actually comes across as volleyball net. But we'll see how it looks after I ink it. Maybe this neutral gray for the posts. Okay. And maybe for the net, just to use a fine liner, black fine liner. I've got a 0.5 black fine liner. I still have to decide if I'm going to do a line art for this. I know I've done line art for some of the other holiday doodles, which, I mean, the line art would help, I think, pull some of the details out, especially on the branches or whatever for the palm tree. But I'm kind of liking how it looks without line art. I think just to help push the mesh of the netting. I don't think that actually helps. I think while I'm at it, because, okay, in the reference, this volleyball, I think is white, I think yellow. I think I can see yellow and blue. But I feel like, and maybe not, but kind of like a classic volleyball is just white. And I think I'll use the same neutral gray to shade the volleyball. Okay, next reference. I think I might actually have to switch pages to start a new page. But let's see what else we get. Okay, I think while we're at the beach, so to speak, we'll do a beach ball. To actually have my beach ball look round. It's looking kind of flat. That still looks weird. I don't think I actually have colors that are kind of in the same bright tone as depicted in the reference. Okay, maybe this mint green light. I'm looking between these two for the pink. I think maybe this cerise, I think it is. It's a bit brighter. I don't have... I mean, I've got this lightning yellow, but all of the other yellows I have are kind of on the brown side. I don't know, maybe this acid yellow, because looking at it, it's not actually like a bright yellow in the reference. It's more of kind of a muted. Almost like a kind of dirty yellow, I guess. So like a touch of red in it. I'm going to use neutral gray to tint the white. Maybe this sky blue. See, again, I don't really have any kind of true reds. They're mostly on the kind of brown side. And maybe this agate. And then just to try to kind of give it more of a roundish look and less of a squashed look, I'm going to use the same neutral gray to try to add some shadow to each of the panels. Okay, and then to try to push the plastic of the ball, I'm going to add touches of white shiny gel pen. Okay. Let's go ahead and grab a fresh page and we'll move on to the next reference. Okay, next reference. Okay, I guess this is kind of like a two-parter. If I can find here. Okay, so at least for, I don't know, I feel like for some kids, T-ball is a thing in the summer. This is another thing where a ruler would help. Okay, so at least from my experience, this is not a true depiction of a T for T-ball. I think this is actually meant for like little kids, like toddlers, but I'm tempted to go off of what I remember. I actually used to play T-ball as a kid. briefly. I was part of the dandelion squad. If you know, you know. But I'm tempted to draw what I remember the T-ball stand to look like versus what is actually on the reference. Okay. Like, in my head, I know exactly what I'm going for, but maybe if you didn't if you didn't play T-ball, you've got no clue what I'm talking about. Um, and I'm just thinking about this now, that I should have looked up, like, Little League T-ball when I was looking up references for this. Okay. Let me just grab this reference. Okay, so this is what we had when I was playing T-ball as a kid. To me, this is more accurate than the reference. Which, I mean, okay, when I saw that reference, I just grabbed it because I had so many, like, this is the reference I should look up, and then this is the reference I should look up for the various things. I've got quite a few references, but I think I'm gonna draw this reference instead. So if you want to use this reference, hopefully you can see that okay. I don't know if this is really looking right. Maybe putting the stitching on the baseball will help push it. Okay, maybe to help this, we'll bring back the first reference and maybe to add the baseball bat. But I think an actual baseball bat would be, I want to say it might be taller than the T. Because, I don't know, I'm kind of thinking if you were to stand a baseball bat up next to this kid, like to actually stand it up, it might come up to his shoulders, maybe. Like, okay, if you go off this reference, aside from the fact that it looks like the baseball bat is two pieces, the handle grip here, I think they've got it carved like this or molded like this for grip, whereas an actual baseball bat would have tape wrapped around it for grip. Okay, hopefully that looks... Okay, before I get into inking this, there is more to the whole baseball. So let me switch to the other baseball reference I have. Originally, excuse me, I was gonna do like more of this reference to actually add in some kind of diamond for the baseball diamond, but maybe just to take, oh, I actually had, okay, to actually just try and do the mitt. Okay, so this can be kind of a hard thing to draw. So to start with kind of a rough shape for the glove, and then to break it down into parts. So like the pinky part, this would be like where the pinky would sit, and then the thumb would be over here. And then the fingers. Now, granted, I probably should have stopped with the baseball bat and tee, because this is not reading as a baseball glove. Okay. Um, okay, so for the tee, yeah, they're like a black heavy rubber kind of plastic. But I think maybe this warm gray 7. So warm gray for the base color of the tea. Okay, let's see if we can turn this into more of a detailed thing besides just a gray blob. Which I was thinking line art might help, but gray on gray plus black, I don't know how much the black fine liner is going to show up against the grays. Maybe this toner gray to help give some shadow and try to break this gray blob up. Okay, I don't know if that actually helps. So, if you've never played baseball before, if you're talking actual baseball, well, okay, adult kid to, how do I phrase this properly? T-ball and up, the baseball bats are either going to be wood or metal. But I think wood, which I think the go-to is like a pine wood. So maybe... Okay, I was going to say a lighter color, but maybe nugget for the base color. And then maybe shallow orange cafe to try to add shadow. Okay, for the tape, I want to say white, but it has been quite a while since I've played t-ball. So I don't know if white is really the answer for the tape, which, if I can find it, I could use neutral gray to shade it. Okay. I fully couldn't see where the gray had gone. And then we'll do the agate, excuse me, for the threads of the baseball. Which, to draw this properly, the threads would actually look more like that, like little V's. So that is way wrong, but I'm going to use the neutral gray to shade the baseball. And we'll see exactly how well this black fine liner shows up on the dark gray tee. I can't draw and talk speak full sentences, so apologies. The plate for this T-ball could have used a bit more sketching out, but hopefully it comes across as to what I was trying to do here. Okay, so for mitts, you can get them in almost any color. The one I remember having was plain, kind of like tan leather, like almost like the cardboard color. So I think soft sun for the base color. I'm taking artistic liberty here. We'll see if I can actually make this look like anything besides just a blob. And I think nugget to add shadow to this. Okay, that didn't help for making it less look like a blob. We'll see if I can try to save this with some line art. So I am using, because I think I forgot to say it, I am using a 0.5 black fine liner. Okay. I don't know if that doesn't just look like a bunch of bananas. I'm going to add another layer of shadow to this to try to push kind of the roundness. Okay, I don't think that helped either. So, okay, moving on to the next reference. I think kind of while we're doing baseball, I don't know, in my opinion, people wearing hats kind of goes way up in the summer. So a baseball hat. I don't know, what do you call it? Baseball hat. I've seen trucker's hat, dad's hat, or dad's cap, whatever. But it's all baseball hat, essentially. I don't know. On one hand, it kind of looks like this style of hat, and on the other, it really doesn't. I think. I don't know. Maybe it looks like the reference. I don't know. I can't tell what's wrong with this. Maybe I've got the bill too long? That doesn't look right at all. I don't know what's wrong with it. We'll see if I can make it worse by adding color. I don't know. I guess gray, just to go along with the color of the hat in the reference. So I'll use white as like the base color and add the neutral gray to try to shade it. Okay. To use the black fine liner to try to lock in the shape a bit more permanent. Maybe it'll help. Maybe it'll just emphasize what's wrong with it. Okay. And then I thought while we were talking hats, summer hats, I mean, like the baseball hat is like unisex, but I thought these kind of straw hats are also kind of summery. So I might be going a bit too wide with the wide brim on this hat. Can't forget the ribbon or whatever that's on this hat. I think that might help make it look more like a hat and less like a lampshade. Okay, so this is a really pale, I think it's a straw hat. So I think maybe this pale yellow primrose for the base color. And then maybe soft sun to try to add shadow. Okay, and then I think neutral gray to try to add shadow to the scarf or ribbon or whatever this is. Okay. And then I'll do some fine line art to try to help the shapes stand out a bit more. Hopefully, I really don't know if that actually looks like a hat. It's reading more as a lampshade to me. Okay. Next reference. Okay, I have a bunch more references, but I'm rapidly running out of time, so we might actually have to do a part 3 for this. Let's see. Okay, I should have done this on the last page, but I was kind of running out of room. A beach umbrella. I don't think I quite have the placement. Like, the reference is a bit more kind of oblong or oval looking, and my umbrella is a bit more rounded. Okay. Now, the reference, the umbrella is a bit more colorful, but I'm feeling just like simple red and white. I feel like that, and I'm probably wrong, but I feel like that's kind of like a classic umbrella. Like on the beach ball, I was actually tempted to go just like red and white. I feel like that is also kind of like a classic older, I don't know, maybe I should go with the stripes, but I'm running out of time. I don't think I'm gonna have time to ink this like that. Now, I have used the neutral gray here on some of the white. For the white here, just so the white of the umbrella doesn't blend in too much with the post for the umbrella, I'm going to use sky blue to try to give shadow here on the white. See if I can use this sky blue to add shadow on the agate. Okay, I'm gonna do liner on this, and then I'm probably gonna have to end this. And like I said, we'll probably have to do a part 3 for this. It was just so hard for me in looking up references for this to like cut myself off. And I think for all of the references that I did get, I could have gotten a lot more. I don't know. I'm debating on going back and giving line art to the first page. Sorry if I already said that and I'm repeating myself. I don't remember if I already said that. Excuse me. Okay, so nowhere near as colorful as the reference, but hopefully it comes across. Okay. I am going to have to end this one here. if you'd like to join me for part 3, please make sure you're following me and that your notifications are turned on so that you're notified for the next time I post a video. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed this. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Bye.